Appreciate it.
This is the Chairman's Corner, a vantage point for gaining perspective. On this show, we will be having conversations with people who deliberately shape their worlds. Success is rarely by accident. So, we seek to see how the hand of fate has created these exceptional individuals. From the Chairman's Corner, let's ask some questions. Welcome to the Chairman's Corner. My name is George, and today I'm joined by Quentin Odago. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Tell me, Quentin, I know I've pulled you up on a good morning.
Yeah.
What did you have for breakfast today?
A bit of oats.
Yeah.
Because oats helps your heart. So I had a bit of oats. I had water. Before I leave bed, I should drink water. And a dose of good loving.
Okay, I can read between the lines right there.
Yeah.
And if you were to give me a bit of your profile, because I've been looking out for interesting individuals to interview. And when I went through your profile, I noticed that you have a lot of, morning wake up messages, inspirational quotes that usually put out to the world, and I guess those are things you constantly look at. Could you tell me what's your favorite message or reading that's relevant to your life right now?
Yeah, it's true. That always happens in the morning. Because in the morning is when I wake up, do a bit of reading, and then that's when I start my day. So 40 or 50 minutes of reading helps me to understand what I'm going to face throughout the day. So the quotes that really help me right now, I would say there's one called Genshi Genbutsu.
Okay.
Which means go and see.
Go and see.
Endo angalia. Okay. You can't run a business at home. That I'm working from home.
You have to be on site.
You have to be on site.
Know the person.
Genshi Genbutsu is from the Toyota factory. They say go and see.
That's like the company slogan. What the ethos that they go by.
It's one of the ethos because they have this Toyota production system. So they have Genshi Genbutsu. That's one. The second one is more about being present right now.
Yeah.
So it says, the past is gone.
Yeah.
The future is yet to come. And right now is happening. So on the basic, that's what it means. You know? So don't focus on the future, just focus on right now. The past has already happened. 5 minutes ago when we started the interview. It's already passed, so why are you still there? It's happening right now. So those two really, really, really make what I think about.
So now you've told me about what a day in the life is like, and you've mentioned Toyota. The kind of work that you're currently involved in. Could you tell me what a day in that life is like? What kind of personalities are you engaging with? What kind of things do you do? And how do you get to that point?
That's like asking my whole life.
No, we're talking about right now. You woke up this week, you have an agenda. What are you gonna do?
What am I gonna do? In terms of what am I gonna do, I don't know. But I know how I'm going to do it. Just by attention. So the main thing that I would say makes what I do or how I got to what I am doing, it involves a lot, because I think what I'm doing is relevant to how I got to
How you got there.
Yeah.
Okay, give us a backstory, like, paint us a picture.
Yeah. Well, I studied aviation.
Yeah.
Aviation is my background, so I did piloting.
Yeah.
I did aviation studies.
Yeah.
So when I transitioned from aviation maintenance to car maintenance, that's how I started restoring classic cars. So one of the things I do is classic car restoration.
Okay.
Beyond that, I do real estate.
Okay.
So real estate
Finances
the
car
classic
restoration.
car.
Okay.
So yeah,
How many years have you been in this business of classic car restoration specifically? When I say years, not that the first day you said this is a business. No.
Yeah.
You just picked up a wrench, or what are the tools for the garage, and you said, let me fix this bike, let me fix this engine, and from then you're like, yeah.
I would say the first time that I started was 2016.
That's like midway through uni, if not at the end.
Yeah, so I was in uni, I was transitioning to Australia, between UK and Australia. So during that time, I was thinking, I need to do something that's relevant, not to the course I'm doing, but to what I feel.
Your aspirations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I leaned towards car maintenance. So I started with a Defender, just fixing it up for my old man. And then that's what now sparked my old interest in classic cars, because I like the straight lines. I don't like
Like symmetry for you hits. Like
symmetry for me, balance.
Yeah, balance. Yeah.
Everything.
This thing of
That's
curves and flow.
Curves, flows. I'm like, nah. But I'm now, as I develop, I'm adapting to that. So it started with restoring Defenders and riding motorcycles.
Okay. Okay. So I'm sure when you started doing this work, you had some goals or like a vision in mind.
Yeah,
Did you think you'd be drawn into this niche of classic car restoration? Like you could have started with, these new cars which are on the roads today, but for some reason you drew back to like all this gold kind of mentality.
True.
What pulled you into that direction?
I think the genesis of that is we used to be dropped in school with a classic car. It was a Daihatsu car.
Yeah.
So
Do you remember the number plate?
No.
Okay.
I don't care about those details. But I'm like, we used to be picked up with this car and dropped. So as I was driving, I was like, this car is different from our car. The interior is different. I see the steering, it's just a thin thing, like those sorts of things. I could see around most cars you don't see. So that is what sort of drew me into the classic cars, because I would look forward to that ride in the morning.
You're like,
just to see.
I'm being picked up with that dad. So
And the guy who was driving was a mechanic, so he had all these problems, like car doesn't start,
and he knows exactly what to do.
Yeah,
and you're just there observing, like even if you didn't think you're learning, you're actually picking up one or two things.
I'm imbibing these things,
Yeah.
I'm taking it in fully. So I'm taking all this classic car stuff, and I'm thinking, this is actually okay,
So now let's push forward. You said you're in classic car restoration.
Yeah.
I can imagine looking for parts, finding the right garage, the right mechanics, forming the right relationships is a very tedious and growing process. What do you think is the first lesson you learned as you're stepping into this industry, and you're like, hey, I need to remember this as long as I go forward?
What is the lesson that I take from that? I think be attentive. Because I thought through connections or advertising I'd get what I want.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's not about what I'm advertising. It's who I am.
It is who you are. Yeah.
There's this saying that says, you attract what you are, not what you want.
That is,
So I was thinking, what am I, And me, I'm like, get to the scene.
Yeah.
And don't complain. Just keep pushing, So that's my mentality. So when I do that, I keep meeting people. But somebody might tell you, I have an uncle who has a car.
Yeah. Can you fix it?
Yeah.
What?
If you're not paying attention, then you're not seeing what is actually happening.
Okay, right now, I want you to paint me a picture. Like, what do these cars look like? Like if you were to describe to me the car you were driving today, what does this car look like? Sinister. No, give me like paint a picture. Just give me the words.
I'll give you the words, but I think the overall theme is sinister.
Sinister. Now, I'm imagining the kind of cars you're sourcing. You're interacting with interesting clients. If someone has a classic car, that's a personality as it is. It kind of speaks to the person who owns it, how well they keep it. What is it like working with some of these clients?
There's two sides. There's the good and the bad. I'd say the good is that you get people who are also just saying, I want to be my own self in society. And also you meet people who want to work on those cars, the mechanics, the OGs.
Now the ones who think they know.
No, they do know. They do know.
They're
just like, this is an opportunity to do this. Let me do it. And then there's the bad, which is there's a lot of deceit. A lot of deceit
in the what?
Deceit in the sense of they can play you if you don't know what you're looking for.
Let's say I'm trying to fix a certain engine part, and they'll say, I have to get this thing from South Africa because it's not available here, and they'll quote you a certain price. You know, that's a learning curve for sure.
100.
And at some point you clocked it. How did you know?
So it's like, they say, this is from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
This is Stephen Connery or something?
Yeah, that's the guy. So he says, there is no commitment without presence.
Okay.
So how can somebody be committed to you if you're not there? So you have to be there to find out, how much is this part? Which part is it?
Where is it sourced
This one is from, you compare the parts. So that's what I realized in sense of...
You can't just trust an order to reach you and it's 100%. Go to the dealership, meet the person who's giving you the parts.
Meet the person, ask them questions, find out what the part is for.
Source for yourself. Because you might find out they don't even know what exactly you're asking for.
Exactly. So you say, understand. Just pay attention, understand, and you'll get all the answers that you're looking for.
Okay. Now let's, turn the tables a bit. Tell me something surprising about you that most people don't ordinarily already know.
How do I say that? People wouldn't think I'm that spiritual.
Okay. Spiritual in a very religious sense or just being centered?
Being centered. Because spirituality doesn't mean Christianity or religion or anything like that. No. Spirituality is just being connected. So people wouldn't see me as a spiritual person.
I'm not saying you don't give off that feeling, but right now I've sat with you and I can tell your mind is in a different spectrum.
Yeah, true. And people attach spirituality with something that...
Like some higher power
and everything.
A meaning that you can't necessarily see from the jump.
Exactly. So I think people don't understand that with spirituality, I'm connected to myself, and then I connect to the world. So I do cars, but I'm not materialistic.
Let me pause right there. So you've got into materialistic. What's your view on happiness? Do you think materialistic things can amplify, reduce, or take away from happiness? Because you know how the world is. We want things to make us feel happy. I want this job to make me feel happy. I want this car, it will make me feel happy.
Make me feel happy.
So and so will see me moving in a certain way and I'll be happy. So what's your view on happiness?
I think happiness, first, is self-imposed.
Okay.
You decide happiness. I was watching this video of J. Cole today morning.
I feel like I've seen this. Just give me the lowdown.
He was saying he wanted to buy his mom a house.
That's a good goal, though.
That's a good goal.
Yeah, and I'd actually be happy if my mom had a house from my earnings.
For him to be recognized as the rapper of the century or all that stuff.
He already is, but anyway, that's a discussion.
So he said, I did all those things, but I'm still not happy. So he said, happiness is, what do you think?
I mean, happiness is what you make it. I don't know.
It is what you make it.
Yeah.
Like,
you can't expect anyone else to give you happiness.
Exactly.
You have to either manifest it or believe in what you want.
Yeah.
And that's where you draw happiness from. Are we on the right page? You tell me. What did he say?
100%.
Spot on.
There's this book called, I don't know the name, I've forgotten, but the writer is Upile.
It's Ubile.
Upile.
Is that
Upile?
It's like Swazi,
Yeah.
Essay.
I think she's from Botswana or South Africa, one of the two. She says, choose happiness like an outfit in the morning.
Okay, it's a conscious decision.
So you
wake
choose.
up knowing, I want to wear this white shirt.
Exactly.
This red scarf, what. Okay.
So you choose happiness like this is the
a
direction
conscious
I'm
decision.
choosing. So when you walk out and your car is dirty and whatever, you still connect to that. I chose happiness today, so I'm happy that I have a car. You know, like that.
I see what you're saying.
So you choose happiness like an outfit in the morning. And so my interpretation of happiness is be present. The things you are thinking about, stop, feel.
Okay. Pause right there. Now, we're talking about like the things which are internal. And we imagine like we operate as individuals, but we live in a world. What's one thing that you believe to be true that, let's say, majority don't necessarily either see the same way or they believe something else altogether?
Something I believe that's true is listening.
Listening.
Not hearing, listening. Because you can have a goal, I want to be a millionaire, or a billionaire, something like that.
Yeah.
And somebody comes and tells you, stock exchange makes a lot of money.
And immediately you're like, yeah, let me invest. Or let me jump into it.
You don't even jump into it. You're like, this guy's a drunkard. I don't know why he,
he has an addiction. Something.
This guy has an addiction, this guy has a divorce, something like that.
Where
so
does
you
listening
convince
come?
yourself
that
his message is not right. Yet you want to be a millionaire. He just told you how to do it.
But you're not listening.
You're not listening.
He was saying a lot of things.
Saying.
Fine. But did you hear him?
And people are not listening, So listening, just paying attention to the present moment.
Okay.
Connects you with what you want. And most people don't want to hear that. They just say, maybe I'm being crazy. No.
Fantastic. And let's hold it to that point of crazy.
Yeah.
We know this song, recently, Kanye West dropped an album called Donda. Donda. But when we look back, there's a certain song of Kanye's where he says, don't let me get into my zone. I'm definitely in my zone. What do you think the zone is? What is your zone? When you know you're in an element and you're not meant to listen. Now, at this point, you're not meant to listen. Someone should also look at what you're doing and also listen to you, your voice and your intentions. So what is your zone?
Because my zone, it fluctuates. I can't say this is my pure zone. This is my zone when I work. This is my zone when I interact. This is my zone when I'm exploring. So my zone is openness. I cannot say anything beyond that, because if I'm open to everything, then I can be open to my woman. She says, let's go to bed. If I'm like, it's 7:30.
It's time to go. It's time to go to bed. This is what we do. 7 o'clock, we go to bed.
So I'm supposed to be open and say, okay, let's go. Then if work tells me just 10 more minutes and it takes 1 hour, be open.
Because you don't know. In those 10 minutes, fine, you could have been frustrated. But at the end of the hour, you're more, let's say, you're further ahead in your work. Or you've seen something else in your work that you didn't see before.
Exactly.
So that openness also gives you other options, not just the one you had initially focused on.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, focus is relative, let's say we're trying to go back into history, and the kind of figures that we interact with, whether we're reading or watching things. If there's one person in history that you think you would, want to sit down with, pick their brain, like the kind of sit down we're having now, you had 5 minutes of their time, who would that person be? They could be alive or dead, to be honest. So,
in history, I'd want to talk to Paul Newman.
Paul Newman, like who exactly is that?
So Paul Newman, before Brad Pitt,
yes,
before sexiness was a thing,
before it was
before
commercialized,
before the 80s, it was Paul Newman.
Okay, was he an actor? Was he a personality?
He's an American actor.
Okay,
he passed on in 2008.
What was his pinnacle film, or
I don't know, because I've not watched him.
So then why do you engage with him in that level?
Interviews,
how he interacts.
So
the things
in the interviews that he's had, he sits with a cross-legged, lean back.
Like, I'm easy.
Like, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm calm.
Yeah, I'm calm.
This is my corner, the chairman's corner, for example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he leans back in his seat and he talks about his woman like a concept.
Okay.
And a concept is difficult to understand because it is a concept, it's not an idea.
It's almost like theory.
Yeah, it's theory. So he says, Joanne, who is the wife, Joanne tells me I'm not that handsome.
It's like he's talking about it like in the second person, as something outside of his life.
Like, I'm watching this happening.
Yeah.
And then this is what
like
Joanne is saying.
a POV kind of angle.
Yeah. So he says, Joanne says I'm not sexy. Yet he won sexiest man alive in the 50s or 60s, I'm not sure. So Paul Newman stayed with this woman for 50 years. He died in 2008.
Were they married?
They were married.
Okay.
All that time in Hollywood. She was an actor.
He was an actor.
She was an actress. And he's an actor. And he chose other things, So the people who made Brad Pitt, Johnny Depp.
Yes. All the stars that we
Leonardo,
revere
DiCaprio,
today.
All these people. They had that bravado that came from somebody like him,
Who said, this is what I want, I'm not gonna bend.
Exactly.
Period.
So I would want to have a conversation with him.
Just to see where his mental was at.
You have a wife, Joanne Woodward. So Joanne, how do you see her, Like, I'd want to talk to him about that stuff. Because he did racing after.
Racing, huh?
So he's an actor, stopped acting, started racing.
Okay.
Like,
now that you've mentioned racing,
I
asked you said the car you came in with is sinister. Do you have a particular make of car that you really like? And wait, before we get there, do you think that this decision, I don't know what your answer is going to be yet, but do you think it only came once started working, intimately with cars? Or was this like a childhood, when you're like 7 years old, I want to drive a Ferrari when I'm an adult, and you don't bend? Do you think it came from like a performance perspective, image perspective, experience of driving the car? Like, what? Give us that background.
Yeah, because cars, I'm interested in cars, but cars are not my interest.
Okay. All played.
That makes sense.
No, it does make sense.
Because cars is what I'm doing now, but I can do anything else.
You can.
So a car like, right now I deal with old school Mercedes.
Yeah.
Flip it, have all the money in the world or whatever, all the resources, I would say the car I would want to drive. It's a Rolls-Royce Corniche 3. There are 4 of them. 3.
Yeah.
3 epitomizes what I want to feel.
Okay.
So,
have you driven this car before?
I just saw it.
Just over here with the eyes.
Yeah, you too. The eyes. So I saw it with the eyes and I said, oh wow. Before that, it was a Mercedes-Benz Cabriolet.
Okay.
So I used to question and say, Cabriolet, Mercedes?
Or this other one.
Or this, yeah. So I was thinking Rolls-Royce. And the reason behind it is because when he says seats, all white, I got the whole thing bleached.
Yeah.
That's Jay-Z.
Okay.
So I listened to that. I said, well, what are you talking about? Cornish seats.
Yeah.
I said, okay, let me find out. So I listened to that, and then I saw the Cornish, and genuinely, out of the bottom of my heart, I said, I love this car.
Like I see where your heart is.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk about energies. Yeah. There's this thing when I did my background check on you. You know, since I'm bringing you to my table on my corner, I have to also look behind. Who is Odago? You know, what motivates him? And there's something that stood out to me about the 5 E's or 4 E's. About is it enthusiasm, edge, emotion, energy? Just tell me, where does that fit in your life and where did that come from?
For enthusiasm,
Yeah.
I think about Robert Greene's book,
Yeah.
48 Laws of Power. So one of those laws talks about enter action with boldness. So I'm like, enthusiasm and energy are the same thing, but on different spectrums, because energy is the one that drives you. Then enthusiasm is what makes you do it.
Yeah.
You know? So energy and enthusiasm come together.
Yeah.
He says, enter action with boldness. So whatever you're doing, just enter with boldness.
Don't wait for what's going to be on the other end.
And don't have to know the right answers. Just be like,
I'm here.
I'm here. I don't know how to do it. Tell me how to do it.
Let's
I'll
enter.
do it. Yeah, enter with boldness. So enthusiasm and action is that. And then what are the other E's?
Energy, emotion, and I'm not sure.
Energy, emotion, enthusiasm, and
Execution, maybe?
I was thinking execution. But let me see. Edge. So with energy and enthusiasm, you know, enter action with boldness.
Yes.
Emotion now needs you not to enter with boldness, but just sit back, relax, and see what's happening.
Okay. Now, because we're wrapping up the show,
Yeah.
imagine you have the chance to reach a lot of eyes. For example, we're sitting together in a corner, we have a viewership, and our message is going to pass through people, whether or not they like it or not.
Yeah.
You have a billboard somewhere in the streets of New York, London, Tokyo, the world. Don't limit yourself to over here on the corner of Libya. No. What message do you want on the billboard? It does not have to be attached to you, but everyone in the world is saying this message. What would you put on that billboard?
B. That's it.
B.
B and E. Just B. Because the premise behind that is because there's 3 states. Yeah. So you have having, doing, and being. So you say, I can have all the money in the world, then I can do what I want, then I will be happy. But it's inverse. So be like a rich person, be like whatever it is you want. Then you'll get what you want.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, you'll do everything you want.
And you're left with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say B.
Yeah.
Just have a bold B and an E.
And an E.
Be whatever you are.
And that's B.
Yeah. And billions of people, if they see that, they'll see it for a couple of days. They don't understand, like, why would somebody do that?
Yeah.
But then over time, if they keep seeing B, then they enter their state of being, then they're connected to themselves.
Fantastic. that was actually perfect. Now, there's 2 things I want us to do here.
Yeah.
I can see you've been picking at this book. Yeah. Do you have a certain mantra that you live by? And like, what's on your front page? Pause on that thought. Before we do that, I have a segment in my show where I have my audience and myself write random questions, and I put them in a box, a bowl, and I'll ask it to you. So we'll start with a
Great.
random question. You pick one of these papers, and remember it's a snap answer. Don't think about it too much.
Okay.
Just read it for us.
You're on a shipwreck,
Yeah.
then end up on a deserted island. Your basic needs are taken care of: food, water.
You know.
What 2 items would you bring with you and why? Crazy. Why I'm on the ship if it's wrecked? That's the first question I have.
Just go straight
But
to the items.
straight to the thing that
Yeah.
you're asking. I need somewhere to write.
Okay, so like a book like this.
I need a book.
The pen comes with the book, so that's okay. What will be your
So-
second item?
The second item would be, can it be a human?
No.
No, okay. The second item is, can it be a perspective?
Yes.
Attention.
Attention from who?
Not from who, by me. So if I'm attentive to what's happening, like,
You'll be able to function.
yeah.
Okay, hold that thought right there. And now, guests and audience, thank you for coming to the Chairman's Corner. My guest today again, Quentin Odago, and I want him to leave us with this parting shot of his mantra that he opens to on his front page. Just take us away.
So I have a book. This is the book. I painted it green, or I chose green because green is the color of money.
I thought you were going to say nature, but
On a lighter note,
Yeah.
it's money because this is what I'm attracted to.
yeah.
The mantra itself is, let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night.
Okay.
Because in the night you can't see.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
Yeah. And when you move, fall like a thunderbolt. Yeah. Just like that. Don't question what you're thinking. Fall like a thunderbolt. So you don't see lightning about to happen like, oh yeah, that's a lightning coming.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's here.
Then you
No,
think
no.
it happens instantly.
Like that.
On that note, Quentin, thank you for joining me on the Chairman's Corner.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate it.
I know you don't want me inside a band, so cause you can get your bands up. You think about it every night, I'm on your mind, yeah. Now you want my love. If you come here, you should know that I can't give out to her.